Faces of God's Grace. So I want to introduce you to two people this morning. One you've seen around a little bit, and one maybe will be brand new for you. But I just want to take a moment just to hear a story. Around this time of year, Christmas can be really lonely, and it can be really hard. And I want to introduce you to a mother and son. Why don't you guys come on up? That have gone through and been through some really tough times. But God has been with them. And so we're just going to take a moment to look at Faces of Grace. And so why don't you guys introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm Maria Lyon. This is my son Keith. I was born and brought up in Moncton, but I lived all my adult life in Fredericton, and just recently moved to Baptouche sometime in mid-August. Those lights are really bright. Mid-August. Loving it here, and that's about it.
All right, Keith, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Keith Lyon. I'm 33 years old. From Fredericton, New Brunswick. I grew up in the church, and I love coming here for a Sunday and see how you guys do your service. Everybody was very, very welcoming of me today, and so yeah, a little about me. I play sports. I play basketball about 3 times a week.
3 times a night? That's a lot.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, I'm a volunteer youth leader at my church. I've been volunteering there for 7 to 10 years. I took a year off because I was hospitalized. We'll talk about that later. But no, I just I'm very busy.
Keith, just keep the mic nice and close so people can hear your story, but you've had a long struggle with mental illness.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, I was starting to feel really, really off, Troy. I didn't know what was going on. I was sleeping 2 hours a night, and so I went to my doctor, and he thought I had depression. But I started hearing voices, and the voices were telling me to hurt myself, and they were telling me I'm no good, and it hurts. What's that? So they were telling me to hurt myself, and they told I started cutting, and I didn't cut to make myself feel good, like some people cut to make themselves feel good. I cut to drown out the voices. My first big episode, I was in my basement apartment, and the lady was upstairs who owned the apartment, and I made her promise that she wouldn't tell anyone. So one day she found me in the I was in the corner of my basement apartment in a ball, like this, screaming, "Get out!" I'm gonna stand up. Is that okay?
That's all right. Yep.
I hate sitting in.
No problem.
So I was in a ball screaming, and she came down, and she calmed me down. She got me to bed. She made sure I was fine, and then one night I went up to her house, and I was bleeding from cutting myself, and she got me downstairs because she has 2 kids, and she got me to, like I told you, that I didn't want to tell anybody, right? So she convinced me to call my best friend Jeremy, and Jeremy came in, and he's about to hit the door because it was ridiculous. Like, I was in my room crying and screaming and throwing my body around and everything like that, right? So then he stopped at the steps, And he said, wait a minute, this is my best friend. I gotta be there for him. So he came in and he called the cops. Best thing anyone's ever done for me. And that's kind of weird, calling the cops, right? No, but it started the process of my healing. So they get me to the hospital, and what? Short. Oh, short. Okay, I'll try this. I'll try to do this short.
He could go on forever.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay, so I was hospitalized. I started hitting everybody. Took 6 male orderlies to hold me down. So that happened. I was spitting out my medication. They had injected me and stuff like that. So I mean, so I'm gonna cut it short. But I want to let you know, like, one night it got so bad, I was stabbing myself. They had tasered me. I ripped out the taser. They tased me again, and oh my goodness, that is a terrible feeling. so like, I was handcuffed, I was shackled, I was on the board, like, I was in real bad shape. So I was actually diagnosed at 23 with paranoid schizophrenia. And I would like to tell you that I had a speech pathologist say, Keith, you're not schizophrenic, you have schizophrenia. Yes. Yes, because you're not the illness, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's good.
So it took 6 to 8 months in and out of the hospital, and then 6 to 8 years in and out of the hospital. And then finally I went to CentraCare, which is a psych hospital, and God put me there. You want to tell? I'll tell you a little God moment, all right? There's a 6 to 8 month waiting list at CentraCare. CentraCare is a psych hospital, and they, by the time the doctor told me that I was going, and when I had my bed, it was a week.
Oh, wow.
Is that God or what?
Yes, amen.
Yeah? So, CentraCare, God put CentraCare in my life, and that helped save my life. And the other one was Tate Valley Bible Camp. I worked there for 4 summers. They took a chance on me, 2 months at a hospital. They took a chance on me, and I think the chance worked out. And so between CentraCare and Tate Valley, it's not those places that saved me, it's God putting me in those places that saved me, right? So that's in a nutshell.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Maria, what was the hardest point for you as a mom? What was the hardest point?
The hardest point for me was the night that he was tasered. I lived about half an hour away from Keith, and his roommate called me and said the police were there yet again. Keith was hospitalized probably 10 different times, and out of that he went in twice on his own steam. The rest of the time he was handcuffed, shackled, and carried out, and that's really hard to watch. But this night, I had 30 minutes to get from my place to the hospital, and on the way in, all I could think of and all I did was pray to God and said, Lord, he knows you. He loves you. So take him home to be with you. Put him out of this misery. Now for a mother to get to that point where she's asking God to take her son, that's a really hard spot to be in. But that's all I just wanted him to finally be at peace. But my only request was, Lord, let me get there to say goodbye. So I got to the hospital, and of course the police are there, and they're filling out reports, and they won't let me in to see him. Not a good thing to tell me. So anyway, I waited a few minutes, and I said, okay guys, if you need to talk to me, you'll know where I'll be. And I just walked away from them and went and sat by him for the whole night. I sat in the chair and watched the heart monitor to make sure his heart was still beating. Because at that time in the news, there were, I think, 3 or 4 mental health patients that had been tasered and had passed away. So that's what was going through my mind. But obviously God had a different plan than I did, and He survived, and he's been doing amazing work. He speaks at universities to students. He speaks to parents. We speak at a course together in Fredericton. We've gone in and done interventions at homes with just the loved one and their parent or spouse or whatever the case may be. And God's really put this ministry for the two of us. And that was the darkest time right there.
We talked about this last week. But remember, God brings life out of the most barren places.
Yeah. I'm not upset at what happened, because this God has used my illness to help out other people. So,
Amen.
God put me in this situation. You know, if there's a hurting, like at youth group, if there's a hurting kid, I'm always the first one there.
Yes.
And I tell my kids about my story, and you know, it helps them out. So, just so that I have clothes in.
Go ahead, buddy.
I tell everybody this when I close. There's hope.
That's right.
There's hope. You could be down to the lowest, but there's hope. And just take me as an example. I went through heck, and I came out on top.
That's right. That's beautiful. One last question, Maria, for you. What kept you going when things were so hard?
Well, God, obviously, but God's family as well. Like my church family back in Fredericton they're phenomenal. And there were days when I couldn't pray. I was so emotionally and physically exhausted because I was working full time. I'd leave work, I'd go to the hospital, I'd spend the night at the hospital with Keith till, 9, 10 o'clock, whatever. Back home, grab a cup of tea, go to bed, get up and do it all over again. And this went on for 6 years. There was very rare times in there where he was really healthy. But God's people praying for me, and I could feel that sense of peace. Even when I couldn't pray, I could feel his peace and his strength and his word. And there was one song, I think I told you, that music is very important to me, and it was, He Will Carry You. And no matter what you're going through, God will carry you through it. And that was his message to me, that he was going to get me through this. And he did.
I just want to say this for everyone to hear. If you need somebody to talk to, Maria has told me, we've only known each other for a few months, but this is a rough guess, but 2,000 to 3,000 times. If anybody needs to talk, please come and see me. Give them my name, give them my email. I've been there, we've walked through the darkness, and God has been with us. Keith, I want you to know something. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Many, many, many people don't turn on the light when it gets really dark. I'm so proud of you. I'm so honored to know the both of you. And your story will not only help people today, but I believe that your story has helped hundreds of people. And I don't believe that we've seen the end of that. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this mother. I thank you for this son. God, I pray for them. God, I pray that you would somehow, in your amazing love, that you would restore to them the years that the enemy tried to steal from them. I just thank you for everything that they've done, for everything that you've been with them through. And I just pray, as they continue to walk with you, that they would know and that they would feel your presence. And God, I pray that those that need someone to talk to, that you would bring them into the path of this team. We just thank you for everything you've done, and we give you all the glory today. In your name, amen. Keith actually will be here after the service. Keith actually has a couple of children's books that if you would like one, Keith will meet you back at the connection point. And Pat, did you bring some books? You didn't get my message, did you? Keith will be at the back. So just keep that in mind after the service.
About that book, the first book,
Yep.
I wrote in a hospital. It just calmed my mind down, and I just wrote it. And so it's pretty inspirational.
All right, thank you so much.